I don't, I feel like I wouldn't do this book justice.
Go ahead, Bob.
Okay. So this is kind of like a mix of songs that I found, which is kind of like how you feel throughout the book, because it like changes the whole time. Like it's just a roller coaster of emotions. So the book that I read was The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. I would definitely recommend the book. It is a great book. Definitely one of my top 3, if not my favorite book that I've read so far. And I've read a lot of books, so yeah, definitely pick that up and read that. So just one note: if you are going to read the book, you have to be like really like open-minded, or at least like accepting of like the ideas that come up in the book, which are a lot. Which is why I feel like it's such a great book, because it addresses a lot of the things that we as adolescents go through in high school, which is where it starts. It starts the weekend before he goes into his freshman year, and he talks about how scared he is to be a freshman, which I feel like we all felt at some point, like during the summer before our freshman year, like we were like, oh, we're gonna be freshmen. But now we're seniors, hey! Yeah, and it's a weird book because it's about not the average teenager transforming into the average teenager, but in its own way being an individual, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And some of the things it touches on is drugs, suicide, sexuality, homosexuality, violence, rape, peer pressure, loneliness, fear of non-tolerance, introversion, which is like being kind of kept to yourself, and just the overall awkwardness of being an adolescent. And well, he starts off as freshman in high school in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's funny because I live in Pittsburgh, California. And he doesn't really have a lot of friends. And the book starts off with him talking about suicide, and how he knew a kid and was close to a kid who committed suicide in, I think it was middle school. And it's just like from the get-go, you're like, dang. And then he doesn't have friends, but he soon meets Sam and Patrick, who eventually become his whole life his best friends, who help him get through his freshman year. Sam, he falls in love with, like, completely and utterly, like, just loves her in every single way and form. And Patrick is, it's hard to explain this relationship with Patrick, because him and Patrick are kind of like best guy buds, but Patrick is gay. And they have this weird relationship because Patrick like kisses him and Charlie kisses him back, but Charlie doesn't really mean him like that. And like during their whole relationship, like you kind of just see like Charlie not understand, but he understands. It's weird. You have to read the book.
And the movie's coming out soon too.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty freaking awesome because I watched the trailer yesterday. And let's see, they introduce Charlie to their friends, which is where he meets Mary, who inspired this drawing. Mary and him form a relationship, and she is his first girlfriend, but he messes that up because he doesn't really understand what a relationship is supposed to be like. And at a party one night, which he does a lot, he parties, they're playing spin the bottle, and you're kind of supposed to choose like somebody who you want to kiss, or like they're like kiss the hottest person in the room or something, and he chooses Sam over Mary, which is kind of just like, it ruins that whole circle because they're in a relationship together. And so it's just kind of like, it's supposed to be her, but half of her face is dead because she kind of like symbolizes the breakage of the group. And then if you see like closely, you can see her heart, and that's kind of just because Charlie like always wore his heart on his sleeve, and he didn't mean any wrong by kissing Sam. He just loves her and wanted to love her and wanted him to love her back, but that wasn't happening. And that takes me to my second drawing. It's a weed leaf with a joint and a blunt and a weed brownie. The funniest part of the book, the most, like, it had me rolling on the floor, was when his friends gave him a weed brownie, but he had like no idea what it was. He just ate it and was like, okay, I want the brownie. Like, he was an innocent freshman at a senior party, and he ate it, and it was all bad. Like, it was like he was just hilarious. I can't even describe it. And so throughout the book, he does weed. Obviously, he drinks a lot. After like 3 days of having tried his first cigarette, he's up to 10 packs a day, which is pretty crazy. And then he does LSD, which is the second funniest part of the book, but you don't really get it because you don't find out he does LSD to the end of that letter. And then my third drawing is throughout the book. At the beginning, you kind of get this like superficial view of Charlie, which you would kind of be like, he's just a crybaby. He doesn't like know what he's doing. He's just lost, and he needs like a mentor, which he gets in the book, his English teacher. But throughout the book, you kind of like start to peel his layers, and you figure out why Charlie really is the way he is. There's a lot of ideas that people throw out when it comes to why Charlie's the way he is. Some people say he's autistic, some people say he's depressed, some people say he is mentally slow, but towards the end of the book you find out that he's actually a child prodigy and he's a genius, which is funny. That's one of the twists in the book. But once you get to the core of the onion, you find out that Charlie had a family member who was really close to him, which was his Aunt Helen. He loved his Aunt Helen to death, but his Aunt Helen was already dead, but yet that was still his favorite person in the world. But once his life seems to be settled in the book, you find out that his Aunt Helen raped him every Saturday morning. But he didn't remember that because your mind has a funny way of suppressing memories. But the song that he used to describe it was a song called Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. But I feel like the Smashing Pumpkins rendition does the book more justice just because it fits the book perfectly. And another way that I found myself connecting with the book was because my favorite person in the world, my grandpa, when he passed away, that was the song that helped me get to his death. So, like, just a little one-on-one. And then he ends up just like losing it. His friends go to college. He loses all his friends because they're all seniors. He ends up in the hospital because he has these like breakdowns where he like starts crying hysterically and he doesn't know what he's doing. And funny part, he like ends up naked in like the middle of nowhere. And then he goes into a slight coma. And he wakes up and he kind of like doesn't really remember anything. But with help of a shrink, he finds out, like, he's able to get out those suppressed memories of the raping. And the book is told through a series of letters, which he's writing to somebody who he describes as somebody who understands and who he has a connection with. And he always like ends his letters with "Love, Charlie." But at the end of the book, you find out that he really was writing the letters to some random address which he found in the phone book. Which is funny because you're like, kid, why are you telling like all your sex jokes and rock and roll stories to like some stranger who could like get you and all your friends and your parents arrested? But he doesn't really care. It's just part of his individuality.
So tell us what your project essentially was. What was your assignment?
So this is, well, my project was supposed to be a soundtrack to the book along with illustrations, but because I'm hella OCD about my drawings, I kind of turned it into like a sketch thing for now until I could finish my drawings, which is why I'm not showing you all of them. And it was supposed to be like a soundtrack along with the drawings and captions. I also had more. I had one which was a steak, and the steak is supposed to represent the rawness of the book.